All right. All right. Let's all settle down now. Oh, you guys can't see me. Hold on one second. Where is everybody? Hello? There I am. Hi, guys. It's me, Koopa. We're here. We're out here. And welcome back to another edition of Late Night TCG here on the Shuffle Squad's YouTube channel. I am, of course, one of your many revolving talking heads here on the Shuffle Squad's page. I am TSS Koopa, and yeah. Right now it's just me. As you can see right here, I have a kind of a blank space here, and I don't have my other camera layout set up quite yet, so... But yeah, I will be joined by the man, the myth, the legend himself, Mr. LittleDarkFury, in just a bit. We are getting ready for our top cut here, and we're just kind of wrapping up these last couple matches, see what we're going to have in store for you guys. Things are looking good, man. Again, you know, we are, again, in the midst of sort of a, kind of this weird, like, twilight period, and... Oh, I got someone joining me right now. Oh, it's Joe. Hi, Joe. Can you pair? Yeah, Joe. We're chilling. I'm good. So, I'm ready to go. And there we go. We have top cut, ladies and gentlemen. So we're gonna talk about it. Right meow, actually. So, we have in at 7:01 TRT's 101. Rocking the Lugia V-Star. They're going up against us Lugia Archeops. With some assistance of some other friends here. They're going up against Dalton Cross, who's rocking Dialga with Matang. We got All Out Blitzel, again, regular here, rocking the Pidgeot control as they usually do. No surprise there. They're going to be going up against Niconape. Niconape is playing Snorlax Stall. So that's going to be a real, as the kids say, barn burner for sure. We got San Martino from Canada rocking the Charizard Pidgeot. They're going up against Huntymon. Huntymon is playing... they're playing Lost Box Otis. Is that an Oranguru V in here? Oh my god, that is that is a choice. Love that. I love these sort of like weird. I love these weird bulk Vs that like somehow always pop up in some of these Lost Box lists. But yeah, so this is a Lost Box list with, you know, the Roaring Moon, the Iron Hands, the Mew, the Raikou, what you come to expect, but also the Oranguru V. With that back order ability, once during your turn, this Pokemon is in the active spot, you must your deck for up to 2 Pokemon Tool cards. So, definitely not a bad card to have, especially, you know, you don't want to waste any space playing like a town store or something. There's a couple of fun tool cards in here, like Forest Fields on a rescue board that you can find yourself playing. And rounding out our top 8 here, Dylan Smay playing Snorlax Stall. They're going up against El Tristo from Canada, playing what I think is the coolest deck in Top Cut right now. Zoroark V-Star. Hisuian Zoroark V-Star. Just hop over and know what's going on. Yeah, shout outs to everyone. I was hanging out with Jarek tonight. I hope Jarek had a great stream. I tuned in a little bit before I got home. Jarek is the homie. And he's really, really smart. Which is why you guys, whenever he posts those Metafy links, when Jarek talks, I listen, man. He is incredibly smart and a great player. So, definitely someone I recommend putting on your watch list. So I'm gonna, it looks like we're gonna have a match here soon. I don't know who this is. So actually, let's hop over and find out together. So hold on for 1 second, guys. Alright, guys, we are here awaiting the screen here. Not sure who we're going to get on this first. Okay, so it looks like this is Lugia. So I'm very, very excited about this. So looks like it's going to be Lugia versus Dialga V-Star. Now, just for context, I myself am a Lugia player. This is a deck that I know very, very well. This is a matchup that is something that, you know, we've all kind of have to come and learn on the fly. And the big thing you obviously want to do here, you want to try to avoid that Star Chronos from going off. Star Chronos can really put a damper in anybody's game plan. You know, taking that extra turn, the ability to just play supporters and, you know, to be able to play supporters twice in the same turn is tough, or at least it feels that way for the most part. But we'll see how things pair out here, you know, for TRTs going up against Dalton. It looks like TRT is going first. Not a terrible looking hand here. Not exactly what you're hoping to see off the restart. You obviously, or off the Great Ball, you obviously want to have hopefully hit a Lugia here. You know, Lugia, Zach Lesage himself described it the best in his Lugia video, where Lugia is a TV dinner deck. You know, Lugia is very, very, it's very meat and potatoes. Your game plan is incredibly simple. Step 1, you need to get Lugia into the active. Step 2, you need to get 2 Archeops on the discard pile. And step 3, you get your Lugia V-Star and you profit. And then you have this incredible array of attackers that you get to play around with. So opting not to get the Archeops there, smart call, because there really isn't anything to, you don't have another way to get it into the discard right now. So having 2 Archeops in your hand is just kind of chilling there ain't great. And this list does play Disruption, so it's something you do have to keep in mind. Gonna take a quick count of the energy here, and that is somewhat important. You know, you are gonna need to establish a Chinchino to knock out those V-Stars, but Lugia itself is a good attacker in this matchup early game because Origin Form Dialga does max out at 220 HP, so it is very possible, you know, to knock that out with Lugia itself. So not a bad turn, not benching the second Minchino. So kind of banking on the fact that you're not going to be able to get a turn 1 attack off here, which is fair to assume. This deck doesn't necessarily have that turn 2 attack. But looks like we're going to be able to go wide here as the Dialga V does hit the bench as well as the Buddy Buddy Poffin. So we're going to allow that to most likely search out 2 more Beldum. And again, just looking at the list here while we go through this deck start. Just a little bit of a different Lugia list. You don't see a lot of Lugias playing the Mew anymore. Mew was sort of this, I don't want to say a fringe card. It's definitely played a lot in the colorless Lugia builds, you know, post Charizard coming out in Obsidian Flames. So definitely not surprised to see it there. It provides a free pivot. It allows you to copy your opponent's active attack. And in a matchup like this, that's not, you know, necessarily terrible. You do have an opportunity to copy Greninja's Moonlight Shuriken with Mew here, but that might not necessarily be a factor here. We do see the one of Snorlax, the one of Fish, going a 4-3 line of Minchino, so... And playing 1 less energy. Most Lugia lists are kind of flopping between 16 and 17 energy. Not quite sure what we're seeing different here. There's an extra Serena in the list. So there's 2 Serena here. We see the emphasis on the, you know, the 4-4 Roma and such. But there's a 3rd boss in here. Not a lot of Lugias are playing 3rd boss. So I think that's a very good choice. And just like that, the team has been set wide here. So we're going to see Magnetic Lift. Allows you to search your deck for a card and put it into your hand. Certainly not a bad... Certainly not a bad way to start your game off. There's no hand disruption, so whatever that card is definitely going to get played next turn. Ooh, we see the V-Star hit the deck here. That's kind of tough. This is one of those typical Lugia hands where you don't really have a lot going on here. Looks like we could just see the call for family come down here. just to kind of establish a little bit more bench presence. Or no, looks like we're just going to limit the bench size here. You know, force Dalton to make a choice. There is no, obviously, I think the obvious choice there is Greninja. You're going to sacrifice the draw in hopes of getting everybody else off the board. They're going to have to go to strat of Boss Stall. So let's go to get him deactive here. And we're going to go to read. We're possibly going to just read the wind here. I would still bench the second Minchino. I do think that is sort of important here. But looks like TRTs is thinking about it. Not quite sure. I would personally still do it, just because I think you need to have this Pokemon established at some point. All right, we're going to bench the second Minchino, read the wind, going to discard that single Archeops. But still no sign of a search card or supporter in sight. And this is just kind of par for the course for Lugia. You know, on the games where you get to set up and play play your game, you're great. But on the games where you have like this, where you're kind of just drawn into fistfuls of energies and, you know, evolution Pokemon you can't use, it ain't great. Not great. And we see the Metang hit the deck here. We're going to retreat and go into the Origin Form Dialga. So we could see a temporal rupture here if the Metang is able to hit strong off the Metal Maker. Also, some of the good news here for TRTs is that the Prime Catcher is already in the discard pile. So we don't have to worry about that being a factor later. But we do have the Origin Form Dialga on deck right now. And we have 3 Metang set up. So this is looking strong for a Star Chronos right now, as almost a lot of this energy is already in the deck. So we're going to have to hit 5 to make this work. We hit 1 right there. Second Metal Maker coming through. That's going to hit 1 as well. So we're just getting a kind of a Doctor a Day Metal Maker here. Gonna have to hit at least 2 here if we want the Star Chronos. Yep, hits the 2. So that's gonna guarantee Star Chronos coming down. There we go. And it's gonna do 220 damage to the Minchino. And second turn on deck right now. This is where Dalton can just run away with this game right now. So promoting the Minchino and trying to limit your opponent to only 2 prize cards. This is the tough stuff, man. You know, your board state's already not that great. You really need those Chinchinos established to be able to knock out your opponent's opposing V-Star. So the option's not looking great right now for TRGs. We could see this game be finished quick. Yep, we're going to see the boss out of Lugia. There we go. That's just going to be the concession. Game 1 going to Dalton. That is what we call worst case scenario for Lugia. That was just, unfortunately, just tough stuff. A lot of, you know, every now and then you're going to run into those hands with Lugia where it's just unplayable. But in a best of 3 situation, you're giving yourself the best opportunity to really, you know, see at least 1 full game with this deck. Because when you're able to set up, I don't think this matchup is necessarily that bad. So we'll see how it all shakes down here in game 2. And we'll see what happens here. Now, there's definitely the debate on whether Lugia wants to go first or second. And I personally think it's getting set up is so important for Lugia. It's like, again, just as important as getting your Archeops in the discard pile. That I think going second is honestly not that bad. Only a handful of decks can really pop off for you for on turn 2. And even the ones that can swing into you, they're at worst taking 1 prize card or being forced to swing into a Lugia. So maybe outside, maybe like, again, you know, Some of us are already kind of playing it in the future, thinking about the next format. But here we go. Turn 1 once again going off here. We're just going to see attached pass. And again, no real danger here getting knocked out. Now, we have the research in hand. We do have the Archeops as well. Unfortunately, not getting the Lugia in this opening hand is tough. Again, that means you're going to have to wait a whole nother turn to get your V-Star set up. So the only real hope you can kind of hope for here, if your TRTs, is that Dalton also bricks heavily. Obviously, no guarantees, so I think we're looking through the deck with the Buddy Poffin. And again, just going to establish a couple of Beldums early. Again, you were in no real danger of being knocked out right now. The only real scenario that happening is if we go just straight evolution into the Chinchino, attach that second energy, and then gust up a Beldum. That's why you play multiple. Yo, Skarzig. I know you're digging this right now, man. me as the local Lugia bot, I'm dying on the inside. But the Dialga mains are feasting right now. This deck is sick. This matchup just might be bad. The more that I play this matchup, the more I just don't like it. Too much has to go right for you, and too much can also go wrong playing against Dialga. But again, just sacking the Prime Catcher kind of leads you to believe that this hand is gas. So. Alright, we've top decked into a second hamster. It's gonna be tough not to Iono here. Again, like your hand is just really not that great. You have to get a second basic down. You could go for the research, but you're ditching two of your three Chinchinos, and you need those Chinchinos to knock out a V-Star. So, but we gotta get some Pokemon on the board here. We're thinking about it. Yep, that's probably the smart call. You still have high odds into hitting into an Ultra Ball. Yeah, like Chinchino, you have to at least get one on the board to survive here, because these things are gonna get, the wind blows too hard, and Chinchino's gonna get smoked. So. You see the second Chinchino hit the deck. We're going to see Lugia hit the deck here. And I'd say go for a call. I think, get a second Lugia. Don't overbench yourself. For God's sake, please don't do that. All right. A much more stable second turn here. But again, that's a big hand for Dalton. The odds of hitting into a Matang, yep. And you already have 3 energies attached, so you only need to hit 2 off of this Metal Maker and hit the V-Star. Yeah, there's definitely some variance here. The Mew is definitely something that's cute. I don't necessarily love Mew in this deck. I'd rather just play a second fish, personally. The third boss is nice. I like that. It's just like, and it's so tough with Lugia, man. Like, this deck is so... Yeah, oh god, that was tough. And here we go, baby. Star Kronos. That's 2 prize cards off the board. And as a wise man once said, I think I'll have another. Certainly they don't have another boss. Oh my god, the research? Take it in person. That's crazy. Alright, advertisement. Come on. What are we doing here? I want to listen to that. Not great here. Conceal cards, going to draw a couple more cards. Again, I would say this one of the saving graces for this turn is that the Prime Catcher's in a discard pile. So TRTs is not going to have to worry about a second Lugia getting wiped off the board here. But if it does, that'd be nuts. I don't see it happening, though. So this Minccino is going to catch the breaks. And we're going to find ourselves down 3 prize cards. So there you go. Getting the Zamazenta, a Dialga, and a Metal Energy back into the deck. So there you go. Just going to settle for the Metal Blast for 240. That is going to trigger the Gift Energy, though. Okay, so we have Archeops and a Research. Why Lugia of all decks? Because Lugia is great. Lugia is cool. Hey, oh, come on, bro. Come on. You got to hit the Ultra Ball, right? Don't get the Mew, man. It's not worth it. Mew's not worth the squeeze. There we go. Second Big Lou. Big Lou's fine. All right. Ultra Ball double Archeops. Come on. I need the serotonin for today, man. You got to do it. Smart stuff, though. I think going for the Jock here is smart because you guarantee yourself a Cinccino and a V-Star. So you're going to give yourself the opportunity to swing back into the game here. You see the V-Star here? Ultra Ball away. The 2 chops. Let me tell you, nothing feels better than hitting that Ultra Ball double Archeops. Nothing makes you feel like more of a person. Nothing gets me through the day faster than that. So here we go. We can actually play a game of Pokemon now. Gonna hit the Primal Turbo. Allow you to accelerate 2 special energy from your deck to any of your Pokemon of your choice. As we're going to see Gift and Therapeutic go down here. Smart stuff. This is a good play. And the Therapeutic Energy, I don't mind using that now. Snorlax is kind of a non-factor in this matchup. Unless you want to go single prizer for single prizer onto Matang or something, but otherwise he just kind of takes up a lot of space. All right, so 4 energies exactly. Do you think the next set will make some major changes to the current decks? Why, actually, I do, Max. As we're going to see Special Roll knock out Origin Form Dialga V-Star for 2 prize cards. I just want to know what Cinccino's hair feels like in real life. I imagine it's soft. Yeah, to answer your question very quickly, yes, I do believe there's going to be a lot of changes to the current deck. Some decks are going to probably get a little bit worse because they just kind of stay the same. Some decks get a little bit better. I think Lugia gets a significant buff in the next set. I think certain decks like, Charizard maybe fall off a little bit, but we'll see. Right now, it seems like the Dragapult and Lugia show overseas right now, and everyone else just kind of trying to vie for a spot. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. All right. Second Dialga V-Star hitting the floor here. Now, this is not bad. Again, unless I don't know how many... Let me actually check the list here to see how many boss are being played in this list. All right, we're playing 3 bosses order, so the chances of hitting one are high. Metal Maker's going to hit here. Let's see how much we get. Again, if they don't have a boss in hand, only swinging into this Cinccino is really not that bad if you're TRTs. Because then you still have 2 cards. Okay, the boss is... That's not good, so... This is probably all but over. Actually, it's not actually that bad. Now that I think about it. Call me crazy here. There could still be a chance. Possibly. You knock out this Dialga V-Star. You don't have any attackers. Beam doesn't knock you out. You can't have your genomes hacked because there's no special energy attached to Mew EX. So it actually is an opportunity here to make something crazy happen. I don't know if it will happen, but We'll see. Zamazenta is the win con, yes. But they kind of bench lock themselves. So, now, unless they have a Nest Ball and the Zamazenta to be able to hit. But we'll see. We shall see. Smart stuff there. Accelerating energy first and then going for the research. Guaranteeing yourself that second Cinccino. Do we see the collapse hit the deck here? I don't necessarily hate that. Because it does force Dalton to have to get rid of something that is sort of important to the equation. Again, just kind of a tough choice here. Again, so just kind of thinking it over, not sure what to do here. You could go for a Great Ball. I think you just kind of throw it on the collapse and force Dalton to think of something. No, we're going to see Great Ball come out here to maybe thin out the deck a little bit more. Only 13 cards left in the deck, so... I think we're going to grab the Mew EX here. We're going to bench it, though. That's the question. So we only do 5 rounds in phase 2 if we hit a certain number threshold. So the threshold was a little bit lower tonight because we didn't hit the entrance cap for that many rounds. So we did 8 rounds of Swiss, and now we're in the top cut now. All right, moment of truth. Did it have Zamazenta? Oh, yep. This might be G's. We're gonna find out. They still have to hit the Metal Makers. Can they hit the Metal Makers? That's the question. Survey says 1. Here we go. A 2. And there we go. Yep. Good night, sweet squirrel. That is going to be retaliate for the knockout and the game. Dialga V-Star. See you later. Dialga V-Star continues to impress. Somebody leaked the script. Somebody leaked the script to Skarzig. And there we go, folks. That is going to be a game going to Cinccino. Excuse me, going to Dialga. Origin form Dialga V-Star. Unfortunately for myself as a Lugia enjoyer, not in the cards tonight. No, both figuratively and literally. All right, so hang tight for 2 seconds. We'll go back to an overlay and we'll talk about it. So. Oh, hi, guys. It's my face. It's me again. Now, again, we're kind of doing things a little... We're a little off skew right now because I don't want to mess up my camera overlay because I will be joined by LittleDarkFury eventually. I am not LittleDarkFury. I'm just a guy. I'm just another guy with a beard and glasses on the internet that likes to talk about Pokemon. But yeah, tough stuff, man. I generally think that matchup just might be bad for Lugia. That extra turn from Star Chronos, like I'm sure a lot of other decks feel this way. It just completely swings the momentum. Like, it's tough. You really need to, like... That's a matchup where you really got to hit that turn 2 Summoning Star. And if you don't, then things are going to get ugly really quickly, as we saw right there. So, again, I think the point where that match changes having that other boss to boss up the Lugia. If you forced... You know, if Dalton was forced to just swing into a Cinccino and then... You know, there's another opportunity for TRTs to go, you know, for another, you can go 2-2-2. That's definitely different, but unfortunately not in the cards right there, so tough stuff. Dialga believers rise up. I think the deck is criminally underrated. obviously, you know, Andrew Hendrick, you know, put it on display in Indy. I think that was last weekend. Time is a flat circle. I couldn't tell you what happened 3 days ago versus a week ago, but Andrew continues to, you know, be an innovator. You know, kind of a perfect storm for a Dialga as well. A tournament where a lot of Chen Pao, you know, was doing well. Just, you know, who would have thunk? But good on Dialga, man. That deck is brazy. So let's take a look at the other top match. So Dalton, moving on. He will play the winner of All Out Blitzel and Nico Nape. So Pidgeot control versus Snorlax stall. So my visualization of that matchup is that one character from Monsters University who keeps trying to go to class and he's just running in place for 15 minutes. That's what I imagine that looks like right now. But Nico Nape is up 1-0. San Martino up 1 game on Huntimon. And I know you all are very excited to hear, but El Tristo with the Hisuian Zoroark V-Star coming through with the dub in round 1. So guaranteed top 4 tonight. Awesome stuff. So sick. I low-key think Zoroark is super cool. That deck is so gas. Now, how good is it? I don't really know. It's a deck I haven't... That's a deck I have not touched personally because I don't have the cards. And I don't know. Not necessarily for me. But it's kind of like baseball. It's a great spectator sport. You know, watching Zoroark do its thing, moving damage counters around. I want to kind of talk about this deck list a bit that they got here. So, and I think the Dodrio from 151 really does breathe life into this deck that it just didn't have before. You know, obviously you played in conjunction with the Netherworld Gate Gengar, but the Dodrio with zooming draw is really, really good. Being able to put a damage counter on your Dodrio, then draw a card, so you're able to power up your attacking engine while also having a bit of a draw engine. But then you got, this deck's also playing Max Belt, which is sick. That's going to allow you to hit a little bit harder into those EXs that you might not have been able to hit before. Ticking Curse obviously does 50 for every damage counter on your opponent. You power it up with a double turbo, so you're doing 30 instead. So being able to kind of correct that math a bit is huge. You know, the one of Sharon's Care. There's a lot of good stuff going on in this deck. I think it's a lot of fun. I'm a fan for sure. Alright, so it looks like I think there's a match already in progress. So how about we go check that out? Hang tight for 2 seconds, guys. Alright, folks. We have returned. Let's take this is our Charizard versus Lost Box match. And do not adjust your screens, folks. That is Oranguru V on the screen right now. Being played by Huntimon. I think that is so gas. Now again, that is I think it's a funny card for sure. You know, obviously that back order ability allows you to search your deck for 2 Pokemon tools if you are in the active spot. And Psychic does 50 more damage for each energy attached to your opponent's active Pokemon. So against certain decks that want to maybe power up a certain Pokemon with a lot of energy, that could definitely see some play here. But in the meantime, it looks like it's just your run-of-the-mill Lost Box deck. Got a couple comfy set up. Turn 2 Charizard, having a huge opportunity here. Looks like we're going to use the Buddy Buddy Poffin to start the game, and we're going to jump right in with a Charizard and a Pidgey. Interesting choice to use the not Call for Family Pidgey. Instead, opting to use the Art Rare Pidgeys from 151. And once again, getting the second Poffin, and that's just huge. Being able to get that second Buddy Poffin They're going to be able to establish Bidoof. Okay, no, I decided to play a split of Pidgeys. Interesting. Not bad. Gonna see Ultra Ball come through here. Gonna get rid of the fire energy and the other Buddy Poffin. Okay, and we are seeing let's play the Regieleki. Definitely a fun new card that's been added to these Charizard lists with the electromagnetic sonar for a colorless energy. I was going to put a trainer from your discard pile back in your hand. So, allows you to get stuff like Silene or Super Rod or whatever you might need back in your hand. Kind of waiting over thinking about what you want to get here. Looks like this is going to be another Charmander. And we're going to slap the Iono down, it looks like. Yep, going to draw to a fresh hand of 6. Going to allow Huntimon to also draw a 6. And nothing else you can do here except draw. We do have B-Barrel in hand. We got Arven. We got Rare Candy. We're pretty set up for next turn. For sure. So, we'll see what Huntimon's able to do here. We see the Culvers come through here. They're not going to get a look at how many were in the Lost Box over in the last turn. But I'm assuming it was at least 2. Definitely at least 2. We saw at least 2 hit the floor there. So, just kind of thinking it over here. Again, no real way to judge what we're doing here. You know, with only seeing one side of the hand. Looks like Water Energy and the Pokestop going to hit the deck here. Flower Selecting coming through. Did not quite see what hit the discard there. Okay, the lost one. It's going to be Raikou. We have the escape board attached to Comfy, so that's going to allow free retreat into the second one. Now we're going to once again flower select again. Alright, we have a pretty sizable hand here, so able to survive the Iono, of course, as Lost Box. So I was going to see the switch into that third Comfy. Could we possibly see a Cramorant hit the deck here? But always a risky move. You know, we do have the counter catcher in hand, so that could lead to, you know, some dangerous traits here, as that Oranguru definitely in danger of being counter-catchered up if we see a KO here. And Charizard would do exactly enough damage off of one prize card knocked out to be able to go up 2 prize cards. And against Lost Box, you know, the least amount of these small prize cards you can give up, the better. Steel card's going to come through, discard a Water Energy, draw 2 more cards. Alright, all the resources have been exhausted here. We do have the Force Field, so we can also still use. Not sure what we're going to get here. Possibly another attacker. Yeah, it looks like it's going to be Cramorant hitting the deck and a switch. So, playing the risky game here again. You want to get on the board first, but at what cost? Now, if we're able to get the play here, this is huge stuff for... This could be a huge turn here. Alright, we see the Charizard hit the active here. And we also see Iono. So first we're going to evolve into B-Barrel. I believe Arven is definitely going to be the play here for Sam. Looks like we're going to grab the Ultra Ball, as well as we could grab the Defiance Belt. Or Defiance Band, excuse me. Guess we're just going to grab Technical Fusion Evolution. Not going to be much of a factor here, so that's going to be an easy discard for sure. Going to Ultra Ball away the Nest Ball and the Buddy Poffin. That's going to allow you to go get Charizard EX with that rare candy in hand already. There you go. Now Infernal Rain going to hit the deck here, allow you to accelerate 3 fire energy to any of your Pokemon. So you're just going to go for the 2 here, not going to do anything greedy or silly. Nope. Sorry, guys. Hold on. Here we have that Evolution Devolution attached. We're going to Counter Catcher up the Oranguru. Draw 4 with Industrious Incisors. Oh, and I believe we're being joined by a guest.
Yo, what's up?
Hey,
what's up, everybody?
Let's
How we doing?
go. The man, the myth, the legend himself, LittleDarkFury is here. What's going on, bro? How you doing?
Good, good. So we are in a match here. Looks like we got Charizard versus, it looks like Lost Zone box, if I am looking at this.
Yeah, it was a Lost Zone box featuring Oranguru V.
Oh, that is spicy. That's kind of cool because you can find the rescue boards and stuff. That is kind of sick.
Yeah, I definitely had to do a double take on that. I was just like, this card hasn't rotated. Like, interesting. Yeah, fun stuff for sure. But unfortunately for Huntimon, they kind of drew in. The Charizard player just drew into the nuts the next turn. They spit into a Charmander that turned on Counter Catcher. They had Arven in hand. So it's like, you're kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't situation where it's just like you kind of want to keep the pressure on, but at the same time, this deck just seems to have an answer to everything. So
yeah, that's the nature of Lost Box. It kind of just or the nature of Charizard anyways, it kind of just comes in and it just kind of does anything. It's really hard, especially as I can see this build here in the top cut is playing Eerie in the deck, which is another card that the Lost Box player has to watch out for because you get Eerie, you can easily lose a lot of your Mirage Gates, and that would be really bad. Losing Mirage Gate and Super Rod is not something you want to be losing early on in the game if your opponent decides to Eerie you.
Yeah, no, Charizard is walking into your house. He's not taking his shoes off, and he's going straight to the fridge. So,
the one, I guess, I guess the one benefit here we can see is that the Lost Zone deck has the Sableye, and there is no Jirachi in the Charizard list, so this is kind of good. I think it looks like we see the Jirachi probably getting cut for the Regieleki, which has been a pretty cool card to use as like a control element within the Charizard deck. So we're seeing the Jirachi getting cut out of the deck, which is a benefit. So obviously we are seeing the Sableye coming out here. Curious to see what's going to get KO'd. Will it be the Pidgey, the Bibarel, the Charmander, the Manaphy? Honestly, all 4 of those Pokemon could be good knockouts. Oh, looks like Huntimon's going after the Pidgey, which is fair.
Yeah, if we're talking this like in terms of hierarchy of importance, I think you have to go for the Pidgey here. Like, Pidgeot is like Charizard is obviously itself like a very, polarizing card. It accelerates its own energy. It has this built-in rubber band, comeback mechanic. But Pidgeot really is like the low key, crime boss of this deck. Just being able to search your deck for a one of anything at any given time, it just feels like, in most situations where you wouldn't be jailed otherwise, like you just kind of have to hold that. So I think knocking out the lone Pidgey on the board, definitely smart stuff. Oh, what
the stream end?
Ruh-roh.
Hopefully we're all good on the side of the Zard player there.
Yeah. This is what the Lost Zone looks. This is what the Lost Zone looks like, guys. Actually, it's
the Charizard player literally got sent to the Lost Zone.
It's dark. It's scary. There is no connection. All right, so let's here's what we'll do. We'll kick it back to us for a second while we wait for this to come back on. So hang tight, guys.
Hang tight. Hang tight.
And there we go. Hit the cameras on.
Let me get my camera on too real quick here.
There we go. And just to prove that we're there we go.
Should be on. Wait, hold up. I'm having some technical issues here, folks. All right.
Live production late. Hey,
let's go.
Hey, what's up, bro? How you doing?
Good. So was that? I'm a bit late. Oh, my camera froze. What was that? Game 1, 2, or 3?
I think that was game 2, but Huntimon looks like they just won. So I think we're gonna get a judge's ruling on that as to like what actually happened
there.
Oh,
yeah.
Sam. Okay, so I'm just getting a word now from our judge that Sam unfortunately closed the client.
Was that a rage quit type situation? What? I feel like Sam was in a good spot. I mean, I looked at their hand. They had Eerie, Iono. They had a Bibarel established. Honestly, I think Sam was still in a good spot. So I'm not sure what happened there. Maybe they're game bugged out. That
yeah. It's happened. Could have just been a Freudian slip. So tough stuff.
Maybe.
Yeah, but it's gonna be Huntimon moving on in place there. So we have three of our top 4 spots ironed out right now. We have Dalton Cross took out the top seed in the tournament. Lugia V-Star went down.
Yeah, Dalton's playing Dialga Matang, it looks like. So that's gonna be a cool one to see.
That matchup just might be bad for Lugia. the more that I watch it, like I
agree.
I'm a Lugia bot in real life, and it's just like the more I play against it, I'm just like, man, this matchup just kind of sucks. Like.
Yep, I agree. The ability to Star Chronos, KO multiple Cinchinos, KOing the Lugia before it even evolves sometimes, it can be pretty deadly. I think the matchup definitely is Dialga favored. I do think Lugia can sometimes, if Lugia can set up quick enough before Dialga sets up, I think Lugia can be favored thanks to Cinchino being able to KO the Dialgas in one hit. But if Lugia just kind of slips a little bit, has a clunky setup, Dialga can easily steamroll Lugia. And that might have been what happened there in that top 8 match.
Yeah, it's tough stuff, man. I mean, that's exactly what happened in game 1. It was just like a typical case of just like Lugia brick, where it's just like, oops, like I can't. Yeah. I'm like nowhere close to getting an Archeops set up, and they had 3 Matangs and everything they needed. And then game 2 was a little bit closer, but after the start Chronos, there was a boss KO on a Lugia V-Star, so there wasn't an opportunity for the Lugia player to go 2-2-2. Yeah. So. Tough stuff. Rough matchup. Man. Time Horse go crazy, bro. That's all I'm saying. So we were still waiting for one other match to finish on that side. All Out Blitzel.
Yeah, it's actually kind of funny. We're waiting on a Snorlax stall versus a Pidgeot control matchup.
If there's
that's exciting.
It's the old homage of an unstoppable force versus an immovable object. So
yeah, I think that the Pidgeot control should be favored in this matchup, just because they have more options. But Snorlax control definitely can win because Pidgeot does play a lot of like random cards. Like it has Cleffa in the deck. There are cards Snorlax can stall into the active spot. It's in game 3 right now. It looks like it's both 1-1. So I'm actually interested to see which player can actually win this match, the Pidgeot or the Snorlax player. I'm sure that they did not want to hit each other in top 8 because that's like really awkward. It's definitely not ideal for the 2 decks, but it is what it is.
Yeah, I just imagine it's like that one episode of Pokemon where Ash and that other guy with a Metapod, they both just kind of stare at each other till
They're like doing
melts.
Harden over and over again.
Yeah.
That's basically what that probably is.
Basically the closest you get to a staring contest. But yeah, I think these Pidgeot lists are so creative. Like
I agree.
I love the addition of like. First of all, I love the addition of the Ditto. I think that is absolutely genius. Like
Ditto's really good because it helps in the Dialga matchup. Because you can trap the Matang with Mawile, but you can use Ditto to copy Mawile with the Defiance Fest on it, and the Ditto only takes 20 damage per attack from the Matang, so then you can easily Penny Loop. That's basically the logic behind the Ditto, I think. It's for the Mawile against the Dialga matchup. But it can copy anything else. Copies Luxray, it can copy Shiyu, copies Mawile, so it's a bit of a versatile card, but it's mostly I think just there for the Dialga matchup. And hey man, if All Out Blitzel does win his round, he's gonna go up against Dialga in top 4, so that Ditto might actually win him the game.
That's true. Yeah, no, that's very, very huge stuff. And also coming off of a big win, that actually got second last week, I believe. So it was close stuff. That was also Control Finals, which is very, very fun to watch. Very, very chess-esque. Control at 1 o'clock in the morning goes crazy.
It kind of does. I mean, we're kind of in an era right now where Control is one of the top decks. I mean, we saw Pidgeot Control get top 4 at Indianapolis. We saw Snorlax, Stall win Stockholm. So control decks are really good. I think they are the best they've ever been in arguably years. Just they have so many cards to work with right now. There's a lot of really annoying cards that can play like Eerie, Misfortune Sisters, Penny, obviously Block Snorlax being a big help. Having Pidgeot EX in the format, there's so many resources they get to use, and I feel like we're even at the point where there's still a lot of untapped potential with what we can do right now with a control deck. So I'm curious to see actually how control looks going into the next format with Twilight Masquerade, and can it stand up to Dragapult?
Yeah, that's obviously going to be the big test, and it looks like Blitzel is streaming on YouTube, so I'm actually going to pull up their channel. I'll do that. Yeah, again, Blitzel. A frequent contestant here in late night, if you're familiar. So, always playing something Heat. It has a great thumbnail on this video right now. So
yeah, Blitzel is like an online tournament warrior.
God bless him. All right, so
yeah.
Hang tight for 2 seconds, guys. We're gonna watch some control on stall action. So hang tight. Okay, so how am I gonna do this? So let's drag this over here. You guys get to hear the magic behind the scenes because we are live and we're having a good old time. So
they're having a Shiyu off. It's literally a Shiyu battle. That's kind of sick.
Oh, this is so gas. All right, hold on. Let me drag this over to my.
Oh,
screen.
Blitzel wins. I think Blitzel wins.
Hold on.
Blitzel just goes Jealousy Sins, and that's it. That's game. Yeah, Blitzel's the winner. Decked out his opponent.
Oh, yep. Tuned in just a little too late there, but yeah, the deck out is real. So, congratulations to Blitzel. Moving on in what's the word I'm looking for? There we go. Bracket. Boy, it's been a long day. But
gets into top 4. Yeah. So now Blitzel will be against Dialga, and we will probably see that Mawile Defiance Fest Ditto combo actually end up being useful. I'm not sure we're gonna be able to watch the match, but if we can at some point, we're probably going to end up seeing that Ditto Mawile combo come up.
Yeah, for sure. And believe it or not, it's been just one of those nights tonight. Blitzel's playing this, very creative control-style deck with Pidgeot, and it's still not the coolest deck in top 4 right now. There's a Hisuian Zoroark V-Star in top 4 right now. Insane.
Yeah, that's exciting. Zoroark definitely feels like one of those cards that has always had the ability to just do a ton of damage and have potential, but never really could be a good deck, and I think that it did gain the new Maximum Belt, which we are seeing in the top 4 list here. I think Maximum Belt is a fantastic addition to the deck because now Zoroark V-Star, with a full board of damage counters, can do 330 damage to a Charizard EX, so it hits perfect numbers. So maybe Zoroark actually could be a relevant deck. Maybe just not enough people are playing it. It is in the top 4 of the late night, going up against that Lost Box deck. And the Zoroark deck does play both Jirachi and Manaphy, so that's a big sign.
And looking at their matchups tonight, and Blitzel, we're going to go back to Blitzel in a sec, because Blitzel's the only streamer we got right now.
Yeah.
Our Zoroark player, El Tristo, has played, it looks like 4 Lost Box variants.
Oh, yeah. Holy moly.
2 Charizards, 1 Future Box, and their only loss is to Blitzel. So,
yep.
Not bad stuff,
I would imagine the control matchup's tough because the Zoroark deck is very linear, and it doesn't really have any... The only thing you can really do is probably one-hit KO the Pidgeot EX before it gets like a tool on it. Other than that, yeah, your deck is a little bit too one-note, and a lot of your support Pokemon are pretty easy, like targets to stall up and whatnot. Cloth EX could be annoying to run you out of energy, but yeah.
Okay, well, so it looks like we're getting word from our judge. Zoroark did say they might stream, so it looks like they're already in a game. Looks like their game's already started right now, so
hopefully we can watch them. I would love to see the Zoroark deck in action. That would be dope.
Oh yeah, that's a deck that I've had most of those cards sitting in my binder for months.
Same.
And I'm just one of these days, it's always I'm gonna break it out, and no one's gonna see it coming, and then I play 2 games, and I'm like, woof, man, that was a lot.
Yeah. I love me some Zoroark, but all my Zoroark V-Stars they're in my binder of cards that I have. Same with all the staples like Gapejaw, Bog, and Gengar and stuff. All the cards that are good with it, I have them stored away for the one moment where Zoroark maybe ends up being a deck that exists in the format.
I will say, pound for pound, Zoroark probably has some of the best full arts and alt arts in the game right now.
I do like the alt art a lot. Yeah.
Oh, it looks so sick. That card is absolutely gas. But then, like, I think it was at Pittsburgh earlier it was at Pittsburgh this season. I got paired into a friend that played Zoroark. And I've never watched a life drop from somebody's eyes where they attacked my Meloetta for 30 damage. And I'm like,
rip.
Brother,
yep.
That's tough. All right, let's see.
It was over.
Yeah, it was certainly Jover for sure. All right, we're pulling up. We're going to get Blitzel pulled up right now. But I hope everyone enjoy. Shout out to all 30 of you guys that are hanging out with us tonight. We appreciate everyone hanging out. And
yeah, thanks for stopping by. Hope you're all having a good night as always.
Yeah, as we're kind of nearing like the last, one of these late nights in this format. I think PTCGL might be changing over like next week, I think, to Twilight Masquerades.
I hope so. I heard that it's going to be on the Tuesday.
Ooh.
Instead of the Thursday, which I'm hoping it's Tuesday. If it's on Tuesday, I have time to go to LA Regionals. Because I can't really go to LA Regionals if the set drops on the day before I have to leave. Because I can't prepare enough videos in time. But if it's on Tuesday, I got a couple of days to do that. Just saying, TCG devs, everyone's watching this video. Dropping down to Tuesday would make me very happy because then I can go to LA.
Do you guys want LittleDarkFury at your tournament? Drop it on Tuesday.
Do it.
Do the right thing. All right. All right. So I'm watching Blitz right now. I'm gonna share my screen for the people at home. So let's do the old window capture, and then we're gonna put it into... There we go. We figured it out.
So Blitzel is against a matchup that he theoretically has an out to, right? The Ditto, Mawile, Defiance Vest combo should be enough to trap a Metang. Alternatively, if Blitzel somehow gets that Greninja in play, the Radiant Greninja also just gets Mawile out of the game, Blitzel needs to get rid of that Prime Catcher first. Once that Prime Catcher's gone, that's it for the Dialga player's like only switching card. So that's basically what Blitzel wants to look to do this turn. Try to remove that Prime Catcher either through Eerie, through a Misfortune Sisters, a Fang Snipe maybe. And once that Prime Catcher is gone, Blitzel can trap the Metang and then do the Ditto Mawile kind of trap strat, and then just kind of hope that he can loop Penny every turn to keep that Ditto from getting knocked out.
Yeah, not a bad top deck here either. The Arven is such a huge card here in this deck just to get your engine started. So that's going to be Buddy Poffin getting a couple of little guys out. Looks like it's going to be Mimikyu and the Pidgey.
Pretty respectable. Yeah, you definitely want to get that Pidgeot out before Star Chronos hits the board, because if Star Chronos comes out, we're going to see that, the Pidgey just immediately get targeted. Mimikyu is good here too, because it now forces the Dialga player into a weird spot where they now have to kind of deal with the Mimikyu, which means they can't use Dialga. They have to go into the Beldum or the Metang or the Zamazenta, which means that he's not doing Star Chronos effectively, which gives Blitzel time to set up his board and hopefully set up a combo where he's able to just lock the Dialga player from doing anything with that Ditto.
All right, a huge hand here for Dalton. For All Out Blitzel. You're gonna see the evolutions here, so gonna be able to at least get a Metal Maker off.
Yeah.
But like you said, no other offensive option on the board outside of Metang here, and looks like we're just gonna kind of slowly load up some energy and pass the buck.
Yeah, it's all you can really do in this situation. As the Dialga player, you do have to kind of play a little smart here with how your turn is going to play out. We do see the Misfortune Sisters, Buddy Pop and Nest Ball. It's all right. Actually, Blitzel does get that Ditto off the Heavy Ball, which is a big hit there because now he's got one piece to the puzzle if he wants to go for that Mawile strat.
Absolutely. All right, looks like we're just going to end the turn, possibly just end the turn here with the instant charge. Just keep building up that hand size. Only a 3-card hand, so the chance of you getting this hand Iono'd back to the bottom of your deck, very small. So we'll see what Dalton's able to do here. Could just be another Metal Maker and just, again, slow roll this here until you're, maybe able to draw into a boss and, knock out the Rotom possibly, but...
Yeah, you're going to have to chill for a bit. I would imagine the Dialga player is holding on to something. If the Dialga player is not playing Research or Iono, definitely there's something in the hand like a boss or a Prime Catcher. I think we're just waiting to see when that comes down. But Blitzel does have access to Pidgeot this turn. He does have Ultra Ball, does have Forest Seal Stone, does have an Arven. So we are going to see the Pidgeot come out this turn. But the question is, how is Blitzel going to approach this turn? We're going to probably see, it looks like Pidgeot come down with a Hero's cape on it so that the Pidgeot has 380 HP, making it, really difficult for Dialga to OHKO with Metal Blast, because that's a lot of metal energy you need to knock it out.
Yeah.
If you want to KO it, you're probably going to have to commit your Star Chronos to the Pidgeot at this point.
There we go. The rare candy into the Pidgeot. Not sure where you fall in the camp of the rare candy art, but I think the Pokemon Go one looks terrible.
Yeah, the Pokemon Go one. I think I said that on Twitter. I was like, yeah, this card is just not it. This artwork sucks. I stand by that. The best artwork is always going to be the, I think it's Secret Wonders rare candy. Yeah, that's the best artwork.
Yeah, that one looks sick. I was partial to the one. I think it came out in like Sword and Shield base art with like the Sword and Shield base set with like the green background, just because like that's the only one I had for like the longest time.
Yeah.
But even then,
that one's not bad either. That one,
yeah.
There's a lot of rare candy artworks, and you know, there's a lot of good ones. There's a lot of ugly ones too, like the Pogo one, for example.
All right, here we go. The Iono's gonna hit the deck here, so we're gonna see what the Dialga player gets off the Iono here. Obviously, looks like we're gonna Metal Maker, gonna whiff. Oof. Tough. Oh.
Ooh, we might. Well, let's see if the Metang's going to come out into the active this turn.
Looks like we could just be taking it one piece at a time. We are not going to see Beam just yet.
Yeah, but we are going to see an Eerie. Oh, I've got to see. Is there a Prime Catcher? Ooh, there is not. But it does have Iono and Research, which are pretty good cards, so we'll have to see, actually, if the Dialga player ends up going Iono or Research here to disrupt the hand, because, I mean, Blitzel does, build up the hand even more.
Yeah, we got 3 pennies in the hand right now, so, probably not going to be a factor just yet. Like you said, we still have to get a few more pieces before we're in loop territory, but we do have a loaded up Metang here, and once again, going to Iono, flush all those cards to the bottom of the deck.
Yep. So the Iono lets to a Blitzel gets Counter Catcher, Pow Pad, and a Boss and an Arven. That's not bad, I guess. Probably the Mimikyu's getting KO'd here. I would imagine the knockout's coming, unless yep, there it is. There's a retreat into the Metang. Actually, pretty unfortunate Blitzel was not able to hit any Super Rods or anything off of the Eerie last turn. That would have been a pretty good turn to snipe any of those Super Rods away to limit the Dialga player's options for energy acceleration.
For sure. All right, we're going to see the Pidgeot hit the promotion here, obviously, for that free retreat. Going to Pow Pad back in Misfortune and the Eerie. And once again, going to hit the Quick Search here. Curious for what we're going to be looking for here. It looks like we're going to grab the double Turbo Energy.
Ooh, is it a Fang Snipe, maybe? Oh, no, actually. Oh, I like this, actually. It's going to be a knockout on the Metang. Pretty clever, because obviously now, since the Dialga player played so conservatively, didn't bench any of their Beldums, this Pidgeot's actually going to be able to knock out this only Metang in play, making it so it's impossible to Star Chronos next turn, which is actually really big for Blitzel. Or maybe we'll see a different route. No, just a knockout on the Metang. Punish the Dialga player for only putting the one Metang in play, and now the Dialga player has to kind of rebuild back up the board, and we could even see Blitzel, like, boss KO the Beldum next turn if there's only one coming down. We could also see, another retreat next turn into a more passive strategy. Blitzel would probably be big chilling here if he had another Mimikyu to go into.
Yeah, no, for sure. Then we've definitely reached treading water territory right now for Dialga. We'll see what they're going to be able to do to piece this together. Like you said, not having that other, Beldum and Metang set up is really going to put them on the back 9 here. Especially looking at the given hand here, obviously, like you said, the boss and the Defiance Vest also could, possibly become a factor, soon as well. So we're just going to Quick Search once again.
Yeah, this is an interesting spot. As Blitzel, do you boss Beldum, or do you kind of go back into a more passive strat? We're actually seeing Blitzel go for the Wigglytuff, trying to establish that Wigglytuff that can have 350 HP. And yeah, we are going to see that boss on the Beldum. Well, Blitzel actually, I think, is in a decent spot. The Dialga still obviously is not knocking out the Pidgeot. The Dialga player has no Lost Vacuum in the deck, so there's no way that Hero's Cape getting removed. So this is basically going to be just like the Pidgeot is going to take another hit, and then Blitzel can probably, honestly, we could even see something like a Charon's Care heal the Pidgeot. We could see a retreat into Wigglytuff next turn. That's probably what we're going to see, but obviously the Dialga player is going to keep getting Beldums down over and over, but eventually Blitzel can just go for that lock with the Ditto.
Yeah, obviously just going for, what many would imagine just be the smart play, just boss up the engine and just kind of force them to, 3-4 shot your active Pidgeot. But like you said, just so many options, be able to pick this guy up, get him out of the active. Could have possibly seen the Sharon's care there. Nope, we're going to see the double turbo energy here. Obviously, trying to... Ooh, and getting rid of that Super Rod is going to be huge.
Not bad. That's a pretty good hit. I'm sure Blitzel wanted to see that Prime Catcher, though. And actually, now I'm curious if we see a boss in the Dialga player's hand, because then the Pidgeot can get KO'd. But we are going to see the Wigglytuff hit. So now Blitzel's in a spot where if you go knock out my Pidgeot, I'm going to knock out your Dialga. If you attack in a Wigglytuff, I'm still knocking out your Dialga anyways. Basically just punishing them for not really benching that many basics or benching anything at all. Like just the single the single board state of the Dialga and Metang is really coming back to bite them here, because now they're getting punished for only having a few Pokemon to play, and the Pidgeot deck is not about just sitting there while your opponent runs out of resources. It can also attack, and yeah,
it's a tough dynamic sometimes when you're playing against control, or because you obviously don't want to bench too many things. You don't want something to get looped in the active, but there's that Prime Catcher that everyone was looking for. So, but again, just so the board state is so anemic right now for Dialga, but again, gonna be able to Prime Catcher that Pidgeot back into the active and attach Retreat back into Dialga, and that's going to be enough for a knockout. So 2 prize cards go the way of Dialga V-Star. But I believe that does activate the vest now, I believe, if I'm correct.
Yeah, so not only is the vest live, but also the Wigglytuff can just KO the only Dialga in play. And now the Prime Catcher's also been used. So I actually feel like, I mean, to be fair, for the Dialga player, there isn't really much you could have done in that scenario. Like, hitting into the Wigglytuff doesn't do too much. Killing the Pidgeot, I think, was probably the best play they could have made. But not only did they have to KO Pidgeot, I think they probably would have needed to establish another Dialga. Because now your only Dialga's dead, and this Wigglytuff is going to take a KO, which means you basically have to... You have to do something about the Wigglytuff, which obviously this thing is not getting KO'd. It's got 350 HP, so I think this game is probably just over. Or at the very least, it's looking pretty over. Plus, the Iono could brick the Dialga player into a bad hand. If they don't get a single basic down, I mean, it's just literally game over.
Yeah, not looking good whatsoever. Going to hit the Pokegear and hope to hit something here. Possibly a... Okay, gets the research. That's probably the best card they were looking for there to hope to replenish his hand. Like I said, that Wigglytuff is just one of these immovable objects in this deck that expanding... It's not expanding force. That's the Pokemon move. It's expanding body. Gets that extra 100 HP. The friend tackle, obviously, doesn't look great on paper, but in cases like this where, your opponent's already on the back 9 and you have so many resources and... ways to kind of loop this Wigglytuff to keep it from going down. Not looking great.
Yeah, actually pretty good for the Dialga player. Gets a lot of stuff. Gets the Dialga, a Beldum, and a Research. Pretty good combo of cards. Let's see how Blitzel approaches the turn. Plays Silene, looking to get resources back. Ooh, double tails. That's pretty bad.
Silene seems like a great card until you hit that double tails, and it's just well.
Yeah, that's pretty rough. But I mean, Blitzel's okay. Still the Rotom's still in play, so you can still knock out Beldum and then Rotom. You could even go into Cleffa maybe next turn or something. There's options. Blitzel is not out of the game yet. The fact that Prime Catcher's been used, and honestly, Blitzel just needs 1 prize to win the game. So I mean, it's going to be a very close one.
Friend tackle once again cleaning up the plate there. Definitely in contention for one of my favorite attack names in the game right now. That is hilarious.
Yeah, I agree. Wigglytuff EX is a pretty cool card. I mean, it came out in 151, and I don't think anybody really expected the card to be good. But now, all of a sudden, it's the face of its own control deck.
Right. The second there's just certain cards where it's just I just kind of read the text, and I'm just I understand in a vacuum it probably doesn't look that good, but just 100 extra HP, that's really, really good. There aren't a whole lot of, Pokemon that can hit that number on a given basis. So it's just a case of just in due time, everything will have its time to shine. So
Yeah, especially now that Path is gone. Path to Peak was a big reason why Wigglytuff never saw much play, but now it's gone, so...
you're all free, Rulebox Pokemon. You're all free.
Yep.
All right, gonna see the Mew hit the deck here. We're gonna see a restart for 2, most likely. Oh, no, gonna Super Rod first.
Ooh, yeah, definitely interesting how you got to sequence your turns with the Dialga deck, because there's so many different things you can do with the Dialga deck to actually guarantee better hits off of Metal Maker or better draws off of Mew. So we'll see if it's going to be Metal Maker or Mew first. It's going to be the Mew first, and then the Metal Maker, obviously. I don't think we're going to see... Well, actually, I mean, to be fair, we could see Star Chronos this turn if that Metang gets 4 energy somehow. There is a world where Star Chronos could happen, but I don't think it is going to happen. But, I mean, it's happened before for me. I've had an opponent hit a 4 energy Metal Maker against me. It's not fun to be on the receiving end of that.
Yeah, if that happens, they're just the main character that day, man. Like, it's
exactly.
it's their story. We're just living in it. So.
Mm-hmm.
But unfortunately, only hitting the 2 there, and that is, or now I'm only going to attach from manually for the 3rd. And
interesting. We see the Radiant Greninja come down. This is probably the one Pokemon Blitzle can just stick in the active, but I think it's actually fine to mention now because we know Blitzle doesn't have a Pidgeot up. There really isn't any way for Blitzle to currently bring the Greninja in. That counter catcher is not live at the moment, so there isn't really any way to trap it. So it's probably fine to bench it. But yeah, Blitzle does need to potentially top deck something here, where things can get hairy. This Wigglytuff is getting 2-hit KO'd by the Dialga. Okay, well, that's game. All right, Blitzle top deck boss for game. That works too.
The plot is continues to play in favor of late night's favorite streamer, All Out Blitzle. In that first game, that was just. Again, masterful stuff, man. He's been playing this deck for, what feels like forever. I think he tweeted that he took this to Indy with him, and he did.
Yeah, he's been on it. He played it to Orlando and Indy, I think.
That's what it was. Yeah, thinking good stuff, man. This binder drop control. That's funny.
Basically what it is. Basically. But I'm getting word now that the Zoroark player is actually streaming their match.
Ooh.
So we definitely want to... I think we should definitely check that out if it is available to watch. Because I am definitely down to see some Zoroark V-Star in action.
Listen, I love Wigglytuff as much as the next guy. But I agree.
Might see it in finals. You never know.
I think the people need to see that. So...
yeah, I think the people want the Zoroark deck. So we could definitely watch that. And maybe if there's time, we could still see Blitzle's game. I'm sure it'll last a long time. So...
All right, hang tight for 2 seconds, guys. I'm going to do some technical magic to get us over to where that match might be, so hang tight.
I got to get a drink real quick.
Yeah,
I'm just going to get a bottle of water by my bed.
I'll vamp. We're good. All right, folks. And we're just going to change this to Discord. All right, y'all. We heard you wanted Zoroark V-Star. We have Zoroark V-Star. There's a Zoroark V-Star on screen right now. And that's sick. So obviously, we already have a Dodrio established. So that's your damage counters. We already have a double turbo energy attached for turn. However,
not a bad hand, actually, either. Yeah, you can get rid of the Gengar, and you're able to discard your hand with that V-Star power. You get another Zoroark here, which is obviously really good. You need to establish a second one because there's a good chance you might get KO'd by Roaring Moon EX.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure how this matchup I'm sure would have fared like beforehand. Obviously cards like Dodrio are a little bit newer here for Zoroark V-Star, but able to do the 130 just enough to knock out that Cramorant with Ticking Curse.
Yep, and I'm actually not sure what game we're in. I don't know if we're in game 2 or 3 or not. So I'm curious to see. Yeah, and I'm curious as to how it's looking right now.
We're in game 2 right now. Huntimon won game 1. So.
Ooh, interesting. Because I do think this matchup can be down to who goes first. Obviously, getting turn 2 Mirage Gate is pretty deadly because you can play aggressive with Iron Hands. This matchup can probably just go down to going 2-2-2 for the most part for both sides. The Zoroark player does have access to Dodrio, which is really strong. But actually, one thing to note here on the Zoroark player side, there is no Hisuian and Zoroark V in play. So if that Roaring Moon EX does come out to Frenzy Gouging the Zoroark, there isn't another Zoroark to respond with. The best thing that the Zoroark player can do here is go into that Dodrio to respond KO the Roaring Moon.
Yeah, the bench state looks a little awkward, but like you said, there's the boy himself, Roaring Moon EX, has hit the deck. I'm not quite sure what the Lost Zone count is yet, but I imagine because Roaring Moon's hitting the floor here, we're probably getting pretty close to Mirage Gate territory.
Yeah, I imagine we're probably going to see the Zoroark fall this turn. Yeah, there's the Moon coming down. Pokestop getting played. The Mew gets milled. I think this matchup should basically be about going 2-2-2. You go Moon the Zoroark. The Dodrio comes up to kill the Moon. Then you Iron Hands the Dodrio. And then the hands has to be KO'd by another Zoroark. And then you Moon that. So it kind of can come down to whether or not you can chain your attackers every single turn as the Lost Box player.
All right, here we go. The Mirage Gate coming through. Attaching a couple energies here. And there's the one from hand. Do we have the pivot?
Let's see.
The suspense.
Hopefully it's in there. That would suck if it wasn't.
Hey,
yep, there it
go.
is. There it is.
And just like that, things have just gotten a little worse for El Tristo here.
Yep. But now we can see the Dodrio KO the Moon, and then we're probably going to have to see a Iono here to try to disrupt the hand a little bit. Mist Energy would probably be pretty good if the Moon, if that was on the Zoroark a little bit earlier. We're actually going to see the Mist Energy go onto the Manaphy. That's going to be pretty good to actually block Sableye. There is also Jirachi in the deck, but the way the bench is laid out right now, you can't really bench Jirachi and a Zoroark V. So I do feel like we need to see an Iono this turn to disrupt the hand and get rid of the hand. If you can just constantly Iono the Lost Box player over and over again, it will get very hard for them to pull off an attack every single turn. So I think that's maybe what we want to see here. Play the Iono. You're drawing 5. They're drawing 3. They also could just whiff the attack here too off the Iono. You can use Dodrio's ability to draw another card after the Iono to kind of build your hand up to make sure you have more resources for next turn.
Yeah, and we drew into another research here, so an opportunity to, see some more cards the next turn as well. We're going to do some Painful Spoons, move some of these damage counters around.
Yeah, I like this. The Moon takes 200 damage. You already counted with Dodrio. You might as well take some of that damage and move it elsewhere. So you can maybe use that down the road. I'm not sure how relevant that'll end up being, but you never know. There definitely could be a moment where you might want to be able to move that damage to take a knockout if you need to maybe fix a little bit of math on a specific Pokemon.
And there you go. Ballistic Beak making it an appearance tonight. So that's going to be 2 prize cards here for El Tristo. So it's going to allow them to even things up. Prize race rise. You have your Ultra Ball to search out your V-Star for next turn, as well as a couple of different things you can do here. So definitely not out of it by any stretch of imagination. Like you said, that these mid to late game Ionos can get a little hairy for the Lost Box player.
Yeah, I've been playing a ton of Lost Box recently, and every time I get Iono, that usually ends up costing me the game sometimes. Like, it's that one Iono that just gives you a bad hand. You just can't recover from it. It happens, and that's the power of Iono. Lost Box is a very strong deck, and it's really good into decks that don't usually tend to play Iono. But when decks have access to like 3 to 4 Iono per game, Lost Box can sometimes be a little... it can be a little weak to use, and sometimes it just does not get there.
All right. I will say one of the benefits here for Huntimon is that there has only been one Mirage Gate burned. So, there's the opportunity for
Huntimon does have a few options here. Doesn't have to actually Iron Hands the Dodrio. We could just see Sableye come out this turn. If Sableye takes a 1-prizer out, then you can just kind of win the game with either Moon or Hands on either a Zoroark or a 1-prizer. So Huntimon probably is trying to Sableye. They have a lot in the Lost Zone right now. There's 10 on the dot, and there's Sableye, so it looks like Huntimon did get to Sableye, and that's basically what you need here. You want to go Sableye, probably just... I imagine you just kill the Dodrio, and then you force Zoroark in the active spot, or the Dodrio, and then you either win with Iron Hands or Roaring Moon. As long as you can't waste a Mirage Gate on Sableye, which, nope.
No. There you go. The attachment from hand. So the Iono proving to not be costly as we're going to Lost Mine, move some damage around. It looks like we're going to...
Ooh, actually, killing the Doduo is interesting. Oh, yeah, I guess so. There's a missed energy on the active. I actually didn't see that. I thought that was like a gen energy. They're actually, yeah, you can't damage the active because there's a missed energy on it, rip.
And a thumbs up emote.
Ooh, actually, I wonder, was there ever a way you could have put the remaining 5 damage on the Gengar and then went... No, the Manaphy has missed energy on it too, never mind. Unless El Tristo benches another Doduo, then that play could have been punished. But actually, draws the Iono, which is actually kind of dirty, because El Tristo did not have an Iono before the start of the turn.
Yeah,
that is kind of a dirty top deck.
Yeah, that's kind of gas.
Yeah, because now you're basically forcing Huntymon to find Iron Hands this turn, most likely, unless like Huntymon still has Prime Catcher to kill Zoroark V. That's a pretty good Iono top deck. That's definitely not what Huntymon wanted to see. Yeah, that's a pretty good Iono.
All right, looks like we're not going. Looks like we're gonna go for the Ultra Ball first. We're gonna get rid
yeah,
of
I think there's just a bit of thinning here. Probably gonna get a Zoroark V-Star. Gonna play the Iono, Palpad probably, put the Max Belt on, and you basically force Huntymon to, well, Huntymon doesn't have to win this turn because you still have 2 turns to establish a knockout on either Dodrio with the Iron Hands or Zoroark, because you can just not put a 2-prizer down, but it draws another Iono off of the Iono. Oh my god. That's pretty good. So now if Huntymon tries to sit back and build up a hand for another turn, he just has another Iono off of that Iono just to be able to Iono again.
We heard you like Ionos, so we put Iono in your Ionos.
Yeah, that's pretty bad, not gonna lie. The Ionos are not good. Let's see if Huntymon can do something this turn. The best play Huntymon probably has going for them is to... I mean, they could try to get Cram back and spit into Dodrio, but then it's like the Zoroark comes out, and you basically have to kill the Zoroark V-Star, and you have to Frenzy Gouge it. Honestly... I'm not sure what Huntymon should do this turn. It might be better to just try to pray that there's no other Iono and hope that even if you do get Iono, you can at least draw out of the Iono. I don't know if Huntymon plays a Palpad. That would be pretty helpful, but I don't think there's a Palpad.
I can check the deck list right now.
Yeah, there's no Palpad. I just looked.
Oh.
Yeah, so I don't know how many Colress Huntymon has played, but if Huntymon does, try to sit back for a turn here, then it's going to be pretty bad because there's another Iono. Now, Huntymon could win this turn. If Huntymon can draw into a good enough combo, there is a chance that we could see the Iron Hands come out and then amp KO the Dodrio for game.
Yeah, only 5 cards left in the deck, 7 cards in the hand.
But it's down to a couple of Mirage Gate and a Super Otter too, so... I mean, it's definitely possible, but it is the odds are a little bit slim.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a tight one for sure. You see the Super Rod hitting the deck here again. And these endgame sequences, like you said, when you have to go for like one of these insane combo piece plays, you have to make sure you get everything that you need. But seeing the Sableye and the... Go ahead.
Yeah, that brings me up. I wonder if actually the better play might be to go cram the Dodrio and then Sableye the Gengar.
Yeah, it looks like that might be what they're shooting for here, given what they Super Rotted back in. We're going to see the Mirage Gate hit the deck here.
I think you have to Sableye this turn because El Tristo can just bench Jirachi, and that would basically be the end of the game, most likely. So you have to go Sableye, knock out Gengar, and then you have to Gust KO the Dodrio for game with Cramorant. I think that's the line Huntymon has, and Huntymon's going to go for it. The problem is you do take a prize, so now El Tristo can Iono them to a single card, and we'll have to see if that ends up being the deciding factor as to who's going to win. I'm actually not sure if Huntymon's played the Prime Catcher or the Boss yet, but we'll have to see on that one.
I can't recall myself either, but there we go. The Alakazam going to get pinged here, and it looks like we're going to hit the Trekking Shoes first.
Yeah, probably just trying to thin out all the cards. Just make sure that when you play the Iono, nothing can kind of go wrong. I guess that makes sense. I think, well, Tristo definitely needs to move Dodrio this turn. I think, definitely needs to find double turbo here, because if you attack with Dodrio, if Huntymon draws into Cramorant, then you can just KO the Dodrio. So we actually need to see the Zoroark come into the active this turn and take a knockout. You could also, you could go Zoroark and bench a Jirachi maybe, but actually I don't think the Jirachi was in the deck, so maybe that's not an option. So yeah, we have to see a double turbo here, because if not, the Dodrio can't stay in the active, or else the game just gets ended by a Cramorant.
Yeah, it's such a tough spot to be in. There's no other option for draw here except going for the Iono and crossing your fingers you find what you need.
I think there's 2 DT in the deck from the deck search there. Let's see if the tree still can find a DT. No, but there's a shoe. You can dig 2 more cards. That's not bad. Damage pump, I don't think matters in this scenario. Ooh, did not get it. So I think you have to retreat into Zoroark and pass, which feels pretty bad because now, I think that actually is, just stays in the active kill. I guess actually, no, it didn't matter because Gengar dies. So you have to kill the Sableye and hope that Cram can't kill you. All right. So yeah, if there's... Huntimon does have a 9-card deck, has a Comfey to work with. I don't think Huntimon drew the Cramorant off the last turn, off the Super Rod, so the Cram should be, and then there it is. Yeah, I was going to say, it should be in the deck still. So the Iono had better chance of drawing into it.
Yeah. Playing to your outs the best that you can, but unfortunately just wasn't, just didn't work out there. So Huntimon able to survive an onslaught of Iono and come out on top.
Yeah,
there.
It really showed the versatility of how Lost Box can kind of adapt to certain scenarios. Because usually you can attack with the 2-prizers and put on a lot of pressure, but having access to Cram and Sableye against these 1-prizers really ended up making a big difference in the end.
But man, you gotta give a shout out to El Tristo, man. Again, taking a rogue deck all the way here to top 4, that's impressive stuff, man. Like,
yeah, it's cool to see. I'm hoping that Zoroark can maybe I don't know if we've seen one in day 2 of a regional at all this format. I think we've seen a couple before, but hopefully maybe somebody can like bring a Zoroark to like a regional. Maybe LA regionals is gonna be the time for Zoroark. Who knows?
Yeah, like we're definitely at that like twilight of like this format where everybody is already kind of testing Twilight Masquerade as it is. So it's like, if there's ever a regional to kind of maybe play something a little goofy, it might be LA coming up, but we'll see. We'll definitely see what happens. I think Zoroark is sick. I'm a rogue deck connoisseur myself. So.
Same here. Yeah. I love me some Zoroark. I've actually been working on trying out Zoroark again in this new format because I do think that Maximum Belt is a pretty good upgrade to the deck that does give the deck a lot more power than before.
Well, I can't wait to see, and I can't wait to copy exactly what you were planning. So.
Exactly.
Alrighty, so I'm gonna hit a quick BRB real quick, and we're gonna see how Blitzel's doing. So, everyone, hang on for 2 seconds. Let's see here. Where is it? There you are.
Sick.
Do that. And YouTube, there we go. All right, we're back. It's the Blitzel show once again.
Yeah, Blitzel is still up the 1 game, it looks like. So we're still in game 2 here. And we'll see if Blitzel can take down the Dialga deck to make it to the finals and face off against Huntimon's Lost Zone Toolbox deck.
That should certainly be an interesting matchup out of whoever ends up taking this for sure. But it's looking pretty good right now for Blitzel, given the board state.
Yeah, Blitzel definitely looks in a good spot. The Rotom in the active not even getting KO'd, which is really big. The Pidgeot still, 360 damage on it with that Hero's Cape. That's pretty insane. We are going to see the quick search for Penny. I actually can see the Charizard knockout. Actually, I think this is just GG's, right? The Charizard just wins?
I think the Charizard just wins here, yeah.
Yeah, okay, yeah, look at that. That's just game over anyways. All right, Blitzel makes it to the finals in the late night tournament, playing up against the Lost Zone Toolbox deck. This is going to be an interesting matchup.
Yeah, I'm excited to see how this pans out. I don't have a lot, I don't have a lot of experience playing Control myself, but I'm curious. Again, Lost Box deck that has a lot of pivot outs, kind of shades of what we saw in Stockholm this past weekend, kind of sort of just subbing out some different Pokemon in the Lost Box engine, but
I agree.
There's a lot of items that could possibly be aeried, a lot of switch cards that could possibly be taken out here. If we see a 5 trainer card, Misfortune Sister, I might leave the room.
Yeah, that would be pretty nasty for sure. I actually think this matchup is a little bit more different for Blitzel because Blitzel does have a bit of a not a fragile deck, but a little bit more of like a fragile engine because the Pidgeot is weak to Raikou and Iron Hands. Your best bet is to try to get the Hero Escape on that thing, but there is, of course, the 3 Lost Vacuum in Huntymon's deck, which really does prey on these Hero Escapes. I actually think Blitzel might be slightly unfavored in this matchup just because of the Hero Escape being a threat due to 3 copies of Lost Vacuum. But that does mean that there's a higher chance Vacuum's going to be in the hand or off of Misfortune Sisters. So while there is more Vacuum in a higher quantity, that means you probably have a higher chance to hit it off of a mill card like an Eerie or a Sisters, because you just naturally have more, which could be in the hand or the top of the deck.
For sure. So I'm very, very excited. Also, shout outs to the Uranguru. That is such a sick addition to this. Like,
it's pretty good. It gets you the double Forest Seal Stone, gets you Rescue Board. One thing I really like about this deck is the triple Pokestop. I think Pokestop is genuinely the best stadium in Lost Box right now because it allows you to easily be more aggressive because you can obviously dig for your Mirage Gates a lot easier, and you can also use Pokestop in the late game because sometimes you get Iono to these small hands. You need to get a response on the active. A lot of the time, Pokestop can actually help you out and find you either a piece you're missing, like a Super Rod or a Mirage Gate.
Also, we saw the shout out there from Blitzel on his stream, so shout outs to Blitzel. Always appreciate the streams first and foremost. And also, if you haven't subscribed to Blitzel, make sure to do so. They make excellent TCG content. So
yeah, Blitzel. If you wanna learn how to play the control deck for yourself, definitely check out Blitzel's channel. The streams a lot of control, like almost every day. There's like a new control stream, and Blitzel does really good in the online tourneys too. Arguably the best control player in the game right now.
For sure. Yeah, you know, like I definitely have felt a little inspired myself. Controls was one of those archetypes where just like, it's not a deck that I, go out of my way to play very often, but it's something that, as, someone who commentates a lot of Pokemon or is trying to now, it's something that I try to play more of myself just so I understand it better. And the more that I've played the Pidgeot control build of it specifically, I'm just like, this isn't necessarily as, like, super scary as I thought it was going to be. So, if you're someone that's kind of on the fringe of, like, wanting to try this and pick it up, don't be afraid. Give it a shot. The worst that can happen is that you brick, and then you just get, you play the next game or whatever. So.
Yeah, exactly. The one thing with Pidgeot, though, it is very hard to play. It is arguably the hardest deck in the format to pilot right now.
Yeah.
Snorlax is a little bit easier to play. It's not as, hard to pilot because you just put Snorlax in the active. But Pidgeot control does require a lot of thinking. I don't know if I would ever be able to play it to a regional, mainly because you have to be in super ham mode if you want to play that deck properly.
Yeah.
It does seem like a deck that tests your skills as a player.
People who can play Pidgeot control for 2 days of Pokemon TCG are people that get 8 hours of sleep consistently at night, and I've never been that guy before. So I'll stick to my caveman accelerate energy with Archeops deck personally. Thank you. So.
All right, it looks like we're getting into the finals here with Blitzel. Oh, wait, we're still waiting on it. The TCG Live friends list can be a little buggy sometimes. So hopefully we're able to get this final started here.
Yeah, I'm a little ahead. Looks like everything's going good here on my end. So let me spoof this back up. All right, but so far looking like a pretty solid turn one here for Huntymon. Got a couple of Comfies down, gets the Greninja going, and got the rescue board attached. So no Oranguru required.
Yeah, Huntymon definitely needs to kind of play this matchup a little bit differently than how they usually play. But I do think that Blitzel has to also play very differently because that Pidgeot can be targeted fairly easily by the Raikou or the Iron Hands. The Raikou definitely is the big threat. The Iron Hands actually can't one-shot Pidgeot if the Pidgeot gets a cape on it. The problem is there's 3 Lost Vacuum in the deck, so I do feel like Blitzel is slightly unfavored in this matchup, but Blitzel does still have access to a lot of annoying cards like the Luxray. Luxray is really good here. If there's a Colress in the hand, the Fang Snipe could come down. Blitzel's hand's actually a little weak, though. Has no other cards really for next turn other than, the the supporters. So, I think Blitzel needs to get a lucky Fang Snipe, to be honest with you.
All right, and it looks like they were able to. That Fang Snipe coming through just like you said and going to get rid of the Colress. So
That was a pretty good hand, though. Double Mirage Gate in the hand, the Pokestop. Blitzel does have hand knowledge now, which is good. So if Blitzel does, draw an Eerie here, obviously you want to play it because there's 2 Mirage Gate in the hand. But there's a good chance Huntymon can get the either the turn 2 knockout or a turn 1 spit, which could put a lot of pressure on the Luxray. Blitzel, like I said, doesn't have anything in the hand. No Eerie, no Arven, no not even like a penny to be able to like heal the Luxray. Just kind of has to chill with the hand. And there's the Raikou with the Nest Ball off the Pokestop. And we're going to see the Raikou probably Force Seal for Colress, obviously. Yeah, there might be... I mean, if Blitzel like, doesn't draw out of this, like, it's probably game over if this Luxray gets KO'd.
Yeah, this is definitely not an ideal hand right now. And again, this is also, I'm sure, the risk you run when you play such, like, a laundry list deck like this. Like, you play so many one-ofs that there's just the off chance that your hand is just going to be a bunch of endgame pieces that don't necessarily fit with your beginning game. And as you predicted, the Forest Seal Stone coming through for the Colress. And we see the attachment here to the Roaring Moon. So, energy back in the deck. I think we're going to see the Mirage, possibly a Mirage Gate here.
Yeah, basically, Moon can just go Calamity Storm, KO Luxray, and then Frenzy Gouging, KO Shiyu for game if Blitzel doesn't top deck a single playable card here that can help Blitzel out. Yeah, this might be a pretty quick game 1. We'll have to see if Blitzel draws out of the thing here.
See how it shakes down here. Like you said, we're going to accelerate this energy with the Mirage Gate.
Yeah, Blitzel, just needs to top deck anything that can get him another basic. Because, this Roaring Moon can just go Calamity Storm. But actually, interesting enough, the Pokestop had to get Lost Zone. I wonder if there's another one in the hand. Because I guess you can go Frenzy Gouging, KO Luxray, Frenzy Gouging, KO the Shiyu. But saving the Frenzy Gouging can be nice because the Moon can't get KO'd by a potential Flame Surge. There's just a little, like, these weird little technicalities that can pop up. So we'll have to see. But, yeah, I guess Frenzy Gouging and Frenzy Gouging gets the job done, too.
Ew.
And I guess, yeah. Huh. All right, well, we will see here if the if Blitzel draws anything here. Oof, and that's it. All right, Blitzel looks like we're going to game 2.
Yeah, this ain't great. Looks like we're going to see the counter catcher come out here to try to stall the Greninja. Nope. That didn't happen.
Yeah, you're going to have to just hope that this Greninja is stuck. Obviously, there should be at least an energy error switch. If not, I mean, hey, crazier things have happened. But yeah, there it is.
Why didn't they lost? Someone's asking in chat, why didn't they lost Zone to Forest Seal Stone? My guess is
that too, yeah,
that's interesting.
Because I was gonna say you can vacuum the stone and then get rid of the Pokestop with Calamity Storm and then save 2 Frenzy Gougings just in case Blitzel did draw out of this.
Yeah, I guess at that point they were just kind of like, well, the odds of them hitting something here, I'm sure they were certainly high rolling there, which is a risk nonetheless. But it paid off. So.
It worked out, yeah. So, and this is, like you said, the issue with control sometimes. Just you get these really awkward starting hands, and a deck like Lost Box that can play really aggressive and can put on, as you saw, like turn 2 knockouts with Roaring Moon, really does force the control player to have to draw like a really good hand. And Blitzel, unfortunately, just didn't have enough cards there to cook up a good enough hand.
Lost Box will continue to be something that has to be respected until, the day they take it from our cold, sweaty hands. So
yeah, it is one of the best decks in the format for a reason. It's a deck that I've been really playing a lot of recently just because it's a lot of fun to play, but I've been really learning how good the deck actually is. It has so many different options and plays it can make in a match. Like, it's a deck that, like, if you know your outs to each option and each line per situation, I think the deck is like best deck in the room.
Yeah, Gert, if you're interested in looking at these deck lists, you can check out the Limitless page for the event. It has open deck lists, and you can check out everything yourself and make it at home if you dare choose to. I will not be making control because I don't own half of these cards.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Block Snorlax is like, that's probably not that expensive, but I'm just waiting that 12 to 15 days on TCG Player can be agonizing.
Yeah. Blitzel this time, though, did get a pretty solid hand. Got the Arven, the Nest Ball, has an Iono, has Fang Snipe as an option. Starting Luxray could be kind of decent. Yeah, pretty good start for Blitzel. We'll have to see how Blitzel navigates to turn 1. Probably going to see the Arven for Buddy Poffin. Probably, I imagine, Forest Seal Stone to get, like, You have to bench the fish here, which I don't know if Blitzle really wants to put Lumineon down. But Blitzle probably wants to Fang Snipe here to try to slow down Huntymon's options.
Yeah, I find it kind of funny how, obviously Luxray's a very specific tool in this control deck. And both games, Blitzle's just able to get it without any hesitation, so...
Yeah, it's kind of insane. So yeah, now Blitzle just needs that DTE. But the problem with the Luxray, though, like I said, if we see that turn 2 Roaring Moon, then you get punished for opening Luxray.
Yeah, we'll see what comes of that. Obviously, like you said, the Arven most likely going to come down for a Forest Seal Stone, so you'll at least be able to guarantee yourself a Fang Snipe here, and only a 4-card hand to play with also, so this could be really devastating here for Huntymon.
Yeah, exactly. If Huntymon does have a lot of liabilities in the hand, then obviously that could be pretty bad. But if Huntymon just kind of has like a pretty weak hand, this Luxray may not even be that relevant. Ooh, we see the Raikou Force Seal come down. So now if Blitzle does go for that Fang Snipe, it's not really going to matter because there's already a Force Seal Stone in play. Blitzle does play a Vacuum, but I don't really know if you're going to be Arvening for a Lost Vacuum here. It doesn't seem too high valued. Or maybe Blitzle will go for it. Blitzle probably wants to prioritize setting up their board, though, which I think is what Blitzle's kind of eyeing up here. Actually going for Rare Candy and Force Seal Stone over a Buddy Poffins. That's interesting. One thing to note, too, is that Blitzle does not play Manaphy. This Pidgey is a liability from that Greninja.
Yeah, definitely a risk for sure. And a couple of bigger bodies in the hand, as you mentioned, so not necessarily something you want to bench down. Not a great... hand's all right there. You get a couple of Vacuums, the Nest Ball, and the Mirage Gate. The Mirage Gate, obviously, the biggest culprit there. Going to get that discarded. So it's going to put Huntymon on the back foot a little bit here. So we'll see if they're able to get that turn 2 pop-off like we saw last game.
Yeah, Blitzle's actually going to prioritize getting that turn 2 Pidgeot. And ooh, this hand definitely has a pretty... a lot of good cards that you can Fang Snipe, but definitely got to get rid of that Mirage Gate for sure. Getting that Mirage Gate out of there does decrease the chances of getting that turn 2 Greninja. Not by a lot. It is still very possible, but... there is a world now where Huntymon does whiff a Mirage Gate, or maybe has to overextend for Mirage Gate, which can come back to punish them, so we'll have to see.
Yeah, someone in chat points out that the last time they saw someone running 3 Lost Vacuums, we were still playing Dragonite in Lost Box. My goat. I missed that.
I mean, yeah.
That's my favorite version of Lost Box. That was I enjoyed that format a lot. So rest in peace, Dragonite.
Yeah, Lost Vacuum is just too good of a card not to play right now, in my opinion. It's one of the strongest cards you can run right now. A lot of times people either don't expect it or they only expect one of them in the deck. Sometimes playing 2 can win you a few games. Playing 3, I'm sure, can make a lot of people just be like, oh, wow, I did not expect you to play 3 Vacuum. And it really does help against a deck like this where there's like so many relevant tools you need to be constantly getting rid of. Yeah,
the power creep on tools right now is absolutely insane. And while stadiums are like still kind of, I'd say still maybe in like an okayish place, since Path to the Peak rotated, like a lot of, people, you don't have to play 4 of a stadium anymore. So, Lost Vacuum can really hone in on being able to, take out those very essential tool cards from your opponent's deck.
Yeah, it's such a strong card, especially when stuff like the Heroescape does exist in the format. Being able to just punish your opponent for wasting an A-Spec slot on a Heroescape can sometimes be, a deciding factor as to whether or not you're winning the game.
Hey, so there's that crazy turn to attack we were talking about before LDF.
Oh, man, there it is. Yeah, this is pretty bad. I mean, Blitzle does still have options. Should be able to Pidgeot next turn, which is obviously really big. Has an Iono, which isn't bad either. Iono, Pidgeot, and I think we'll see how Blitzle actually navigates the turn. There's no Wigglytuff yet. I'm not sure what Blitzle's line is, actually, if this Roaring Moon comes down. How do you navigate the matchup? I feel like you would probably want like a Wigglytuff with a Mist Energy on it, because the Roaring Moon can't Frenzy Gouge it. I actually don't know what Blitzle does here to kind of counteract the Roaring Moon. I mean, I guess if Moon has to Frenzy Gouge it, you can push Mimikyu in the active spot, force him to gouge again, because you can't... Actually, Huntymon's bench lock from benching Cramorant, which is good, so there is that too.
I was going to assume they were going to maybe quick search for the double turbo here, just to assure themselves the knockout to get on the board here.
Knockout works too, yeah, because you can't really get KO'd by the Raikou right away. So yeah, I guess you could do that. Knock out the Moon, kind of figure it out from there. That also works. So yeah, we could see that.
And it looks like that is the line we're going to choose here if you're Blitzel. Again, choosing not to bench anything else. Obviously, you have to run the risk of that Raikou getting powered up. But, you know, it's a Pokemon hits you for weakness, but it's dependent on how many bench Pokemon are out. So you can survive a hit of this if you have nobody else benched in play. So
yeah, it's actually pretty good that Blitzel had the Iono. But yeah, now Blitzel needs to draw something good here off the Iono for next turn. Does have Nest Ball. Does actually... Blitzel can't bench another basic because Raikou does 140 damage if another basic comes down on Blitzel. Blitzel just has to leave the Pidgeot in play in order for this Raikou to only be able to do 220 damage.
All right, we're going to see the switch here into the second Comfey. Going to get another Flower Selecting. Only 14 cards left in the deck right now. Things have been... He is truly turboing through this deck right now as Huntimon.
Yeah, and there's actually a good chance, too, that Blitzel, there's a chance Blitzel just might lose this turn to the Roaring Moon coming back out.
Could very much be a possibility here as you see the Super Rod hit the deck. Most likely going to be the Roaring Moon and a couple of energy cards. 2 Mirage Gates have been burned already, so there is still...
Yeah, it is possible. The triple Pokestop, this is where it's really good to have the 3 Pokestop because it allows you to do a lot more extra digging. And yeah, see, look at that. Mirage Gate switch card. That could be enough. Let's see.
Oh no, it's going to rip the Mirage Gate off the cuff.
Ooh, actually a switch. So that tells me there is no out yet. Might be missing either an energy or a Nest Ball here to close out the game.
Okay, no, we're just going to go for the Raikou. Interesting.
Yeah, just probably didn't have enough steam to go into the moon. Close, though. Definitely very close, especially with the Pokestop being a big help. But now there's a position where Blitzel can start to kind of breathe a sigh of relief. The Pidgeot survived the turn. You have some time to quick search still, which is good, obviously. Now you probably have to go for a different line here as Blitzel. You have to kind of navigate how this goes. You probably want Mimikyu in the active this turn as your Pokemon to put in the active here. You probably want the... Maybe, I don't know if you want to Eerie this turn or not. Like, you could Iono again. Yeah, we'll see how Blitzel actually navigates this turn.
So you're going to go for the quick search here. We do have the Wigglytuff in hand, so Jigglypuff is obviously an option here. Looks like we're going to get the Fire Energy. So it looks like Chi-Yu might actually be the star player for this turn here, as we're going to see that a potential Jealously Singe.
Yeah, Chi-Yu isn't a bad option either. Try to mill the rest of the Mirage Gates or whatever. That could be a pretty strong combo. Chi-Yu can't get KO'd this turn either by Raikou or Sableye or Radiant Greninja, which only does 180 damage max. So not even the Greninja would knock it out.
Yeah, I just noticed someone on Twitter actually point out yesterday that it could be a case of the Mandela effect where you all kept saying Jealousy Singe instead of Jealously Singe. And that's correct. I've never read this card a day in my life, so...
Actually, I just realized Blitzel's in a very good spot now because the Chi-Yu can't get knocked out, and we actually could see Huntimon just kind of keep hitting at the Chi-Yu, and then Blitzel can kind of just penny it a couple turns in a row and just keep jealously singeing away at Huntimon's deck. So that could be a bit of a problematic situation. You can't even really go Sableye this turn. Sableye can't KO Pidgeot. You have to basically Gust KO the Pidgeot this turn, and then hope that there's no like weird combo in Blitzel's hand to kind of pull off any like healing or anything.
Now would have been a great time for a vacuum, but I actually don't know how many are left in the deck right now.
Ooh, that's true. Doesn't look like there is one, obviously. Would have played it. Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Because now Blitzel... Blitzel can now go for a play where maybe they decide to... I'm curious, actually, if they're going to heal the Pidgeot or not. Because the problem is, if you heal the Pidgeot, you can't deal with Sableye, because then the Sableye would still lost mine your Pidgey.
Right.
So I'm actually curious how Blitzel can navigate this turn.
Dan,
you could knock out the Sableye with Flame Surge. That feels kind of bad, though. Yeah, this is interesting. I'm actually curious to see how Blitzel's going to play this turn out.
Yeah, it's certainly an interesting hand to play with as well. And like you said, I'm sure if the Blitzel can try to avoid it, they're not going to want to play the Lumineon.
Yeah, I guess you could quick search for like Mist Energy, put Mist Energy onto your Pidgeot so that the Pidgeot can't get Sableye. I don't know if that feels good though, especially if there is still a Gust in the deck for Huntimon. Huntimon does play one boss, one Prime Catcher. Not sure if either has been played yet, or in the Lost Zone. So yeah, we might just see the knockout on the Sableye.
Yeah, that's...
Judging... I guess you can go knockout Sableye, and then you can Radzard the following turn.
Looks like we're going to see the Lumineon hit the deck anyway. I think we're going to
see the Misfortune, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
You might actually, if you can mill the Prime Catcher and Huntimon can't find boss, then that's really good actually for Blitzel. Ooh, the triple hit, the Vacuum Rod. Okay, hitting the Vacuum's also good, obviously. Okay, that also prevents the Pidgeot from getting killed. That might have been Huntimon's last Vacuum. I think the other one might be in the Lost Zone.
Yeah, I did not get a look at the Lost Zone. There,
it is.
Ooh, that's tough.
Yep. So we see the knockout, and now Blitzel can go as long as Huntimon doesn't have a way to kill Pidgeot. Blitzel can now potentially go Charizard. Is it possible? There is the Silene, so you can Silene back Fire. No, maybe that doesn't work actually. Maybe Blitzel can't go for that route.
Is that one copy of Boss still in the deck? I did not see if that got played yet or not.
I don't think it's played yet. It might still be in the deck. I didn't see it off the Misfortune Sisters there, so it could be prized. There's a chance it's prized.
Right. Nest Ball coming out here. Ew, this is not great.
Yeah, I actually don't know. This is a close game, actually. Blitzel, just that Pidgeot being heavily damaged is pretty bad. But Huntimon is low on resources. It actually might be more in Blitzel's favor, but we'll see.
All right, just going to let it rip with the Lightning Rondo. Not even going to attempt to,
I think the boss is definitely prized. Boss must be prized. I wonder if boss and Prime Catcher are both prized, actually.
That's a good point. Yeah, I did not see the Prime Catcher either. So we're going to see Ultra Ball come out here.
Blitzel could go... Ooh, there's no Radzard. The Radzard's prized, I think?
I would imagine so, yeah, if that's the case. Let's take a look here.
I don't think Blitzel had an energy for the Radzard. Yeah, only 2 energy in the deck. But, that's interesting. It's actually grabbing Mawile here. So I think Blitzel's strategy is to hope that Huntimon ran out of Switch Out. I'm actually curious on that. But I don't know if Huntimon's played the Prime Catcher yet. Prime Catcher probably wins the game because you can't get both Pidgeot and Fish off the board.
For sure. 5 cards left on deck, 6 cards in hand, and they're not gonna hit off the Misfortune. So that the Prime Catcher's only in like 1 or 2 spots right now. So
yeah, either it was prized or it could still be in the deck. That could have been a very lucky or very unlucky Misfortune Sisters. Looks like he's gonna Challenge Care the Pidgeot. Maybe Challenge Care Pidgeot, go into Cleffa. You could trap... Yeah, I guess you can go Challenge Care Pidgeot and then try to trap something on the bench with the Mawile, because you can put the energy back onto the Mawile.
That seems like a play here. We're going to get the Mimikyu.
Yeah, Mimikyu's good too, because you can force the Huntimon to discard another energy card, and you force more out of the Raikou, because now you need like Cram the knockout, and the Iono's pretty good too. That'll help a little bit, but Huntimon does win the game if they can just find Gust, right? Assuming, I think Blitzel's playing as if he knows that their Gust is prized, because like I said, I don't think we've seen the Prime Catcher and the boss yet, so could be prized.
Yeah,
and if you got the prizes there, it's down at the bottom of the deck.
Yeah, that's tough stuff. We're going to see the Mew come out here. Do we see maybe one more card thinned out? Okay, we're going to see the switch.
Ooh, yeah, the Mew coming down is pretty big.
Ooh, is it in the deck?
I think it is. We'll see, we'll see. I wonder if...
Hey!
Oh, Chorus, that should be... Yeah, that's game, right? Get the Prime Catcher. And that's it. Lost Box wins the late night.
Well, you look at that. That is going to be it, folks. Lost Box here to play still. That is going to be it for Blitzel. And let's We'll turn our cameras back on so we can talk to the people real quick. So there we go.
And it was good.
There we go. It's us. It's our fabulous hosts again. Again, just a couple guys with beards talking about Pokemon. So that was a fun finals. That was legitimately a lot of fun to watch.
It was pretty cool actually to see how Blitzel navigated the situations he was placed in. And I think it was well played by Blitzel. But yeah, Lost Box, despite having a ton of items and, a lot of different things can go wrong. I mean, we saw both games, Turn 2, Roaring Moon, the Raikou being a big pressurizer, especially against the Pidgey out there. Yeah, a lot of things just kind of were going in Blitzel's favor, right?
Yeah, no, that's definitely the case. And I think that Roaring Moon definitely was the MVP of those two games. You look at
Roaring Moon is really good against control decks because you can just knock out whatever's in the active.
Yeah. He just eats whatever it is for breakfast, so
yeah,
that's
exactly.
tough stuff. But again, that was a lot of fun to watch. And again, Blitzel coming up with a back-to-back, second places in late night and
pretty good still.
Good stuff. Can't complain. So that was a lot of fun. LDF, as always, it's a pleasure to talk to you.
Thank you. Friend. Yeah, it's always a pleasure to cast with you. It was a lot of fun to watch the top 8 here. We had some interesting stuff. The Control, the Lost Box Guru, and the Zoroark V-Star deck. So there was some spice in the top 8, which was nice.
Oh, yeah. And like I said, we're only a little bit a ways from Twilight Masquerade coming up. Have you hit any pre-releases in the last couple days?
I have. And I'm pretty excited to play the new set and play all the new cards and stuff. I still have a booster box coming in the mail, too. So be opening that up hopefully very soon.
Yeah, I got my stuff coming soon. I'm very, very excited. I'm hoping I pull a Legacy Energy so I don't have to buy it.
I did get a Legacy Energy. I traded someone in a pre-release. I pulled 2 Scoop Up Cyclones in one of my kits. So I traded an extra off for the Legacy Energy.
That's gas. That is. Hey, man, that's just if there's ever a TSS win, it's that.
I agree.
But yeah, let the people know where they can find you, what you're going to. Like I said, you might be going to LA Regionals if everything shakes out. So let the people know.
Yeah, I hope I'll be at LA Regionals this weekend or next week or the week after, I guess. I'm excited for that. I haven't been to LA before, but we'll have to see how the timing works out.
Yeah. I hope you're able to make it. Are you going to NAIC?
Thanks. I'll be at NA. Yeah. I'm going to NAIC. Are you?
I will be there. I'm currently still on the wait list because I missed the registration. But
yeah, that sucks. I missed wave 1. Thankfully, I got in wave 2. But yeah, I was panicking. I was like, no, not like this.
I whiffed wave 1 because I went to go see Spider-Man 3 in theaters willingly with my friends. So
good trade-off, honestly. Good trade-off.
Hey, can't complain. But yeah, you guys can check me out at Koopa NJ. I'm all over the place. Me and my friends are actually having a little NAIC format gauntlet this weekend that I might film some footage at just to kind of get our reps up. I'm still going to be practicing for the event as if I'm going to be able to get in. So I'm manifesting that somebody is not going to make it, but. Yeah, you guys.
Well, we'll see.
we'll see what happens. Either way, I'm still going. I'm excited for the trip. Excited to see everybody. But yeah, you can check me out there. You can check us out at the Shuffle Squad. All our stuff's going to be down below in the description of the video. And yeah, we will catch you guys on the flip side. Hold on. I got to update it to the right screen here because I am very much not where I'm supposed to be. There we go. There's our stream back. All right. We're going to end the stream out now, guys. Good night, everyone. Have yourselves a wonderful night. We'll see you guys next week for more late night.
Peace.